Let's talk about where wokeness brings us, and evolutionary biology I think will be interesting for this next conversation. We have a story from the Daily Mail. Trans UPenn swimmer Leah Thomas complains about loss of muscle and strength due to hormone treatment and says she's nowhere close to her previous best, says competing on women's team is fair. Now, I want to say this outright because I think it's important. And I think it's something you'll typically hear from many of the, post-liberal, disaffected liberals or whatever, and even many conservatives, although not all of them. I think people should be able to be happy and free and not disparaged for, whatever individual life choices they want to make, so long as they're not harming others. This is the instance where the transgender sport issue actually does start causing, a degree of harm to others. So if those aren't familiar, this is about a person who's biologically male who is transitioning to be a trans woman named Leah Thomas, who just broke a record in, a swimming competition and defeated the next runner-up by over 38 seconds, which for people who understand something, if you've ever watched like Michael Phelps in the Olympics, that is not just winning. That is like just totally outclassing and just absolutely demolishing everyone else. Now, there's a lot of people are bringing this up. In an interview with Outkick, a sports website, an unnamed athlete from, I believe this is UPenn, noted that while Thomas is already breaking school and meet records, she soon may be shattering world records. There's a few things I can say here just to get started. If the left, if their ideology wins, then I think the simple argument is we as humans have created these rules for these sporting events, and if we decide to change them, then they change. But that ultimately means there will be no women's sports. Or I should say, there will be no sports exclusive to females, to use their language, or I suppose that actually I shouldn't say or. That's it. That's literally the outcome if we head in that direction. Otherwise, we have to say outright there will be male and female distinct divisions. But you mentioned you're an evolutionary biologist, so I suppose we can.
Well, that's my background. I haven't done it for 20 years.
Oh yeah, but you've got some context to add into this conversation, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, okay. I mean, I don't know what else I can say. I mean, there are very, very clear. I mean, this is just the biologist's perspective, I think, right? There's just very clear biological differences between men and women that you can't get rid of using hormone therapy or, frankly, surgery or anything. They're foundational differences. And I mean, and this, I say this with the greatest respect for people who are men that want to be women, and I leave them to doing that.
Be free. But this also means we have to reconcile other people's rights as well.
Absolutely. And I mean, like this sort of thing, right? Just on the face of it, is it unsayable that they won because they're physically male? Right.
Someone pulled up the.
Is that okay to say? See, that's an interesting question.
You're canceled. How dare you have that big assumption?
But I mean,
all of these.
But what other explanation is there, or are we supposed to believe that somehow this isn't a factor? I mean,
what they'll end up saying is no, not because they're male. Their genitals had nothing to do with this. It has to do with just being taller and having longer arms. Which is a tendency towards being male. So the way I framed it on Twitter is just, look, if the argument is that from the left that trans women are women, then and they say like literally like indistinguishable, well then it's quite simple. This transgender swimmer has proven women can swim as fast as men.
True.
And that would mean that all the other women who lost by over 38 seconds are just not trying hard enough. Now, actually, I'll be reasonable on this one to a certain degree. I actually believe that there is a lack of competition in some women's sports because there is a lower level of direct competition. So I've actually seen this in skateboarding where there are certain female skaters I know who are insanely good at skating. And when I watch them compete, they compete like relaxed, like they're not going to push themselves too hard because they don't have to. And it keeps everything kind of down. So one of the responses I got to this was, well, this actually will drive biological females to push harder and actually break those records. But my response to that is it going to matter if the record's already broken by a trans woman and then they'll never get anywhere near close to it?